Today, we have an exciting thing that's been happening in St. Louis. It really has been a few people talking and connecting and building bridges. Started between St. Louis and St. Charles, and now it's blowing up nationwide. So Rick DeRee is here to tell us about the program. Rick?
All right, so this has been happening for the last few years in my mind. I'm Rick DeRee. I'm from St. Charles. My wife and I founded the DeRee Center for Entrepreneurship at Lindenwood University, and we've been trying to support entrepreneurship ever since. I tell you, though, we have good successes, startups that launch and symposiums and conferences and roundtables and all that good stuff. After a while, you feel like you wish you could have done a little more. Am I right? And your different charities you're a part of, you wish you had a little bit more impact. So I said, how can we take this bigger? And let me tell you a story about Jane. Now, the truth is, this is actually a guy from North Carolina, but I changed him to a chick, call him Jane, and put him in Cape Girardeau, okay? So we can relate a little bit. So in Cape Girardeau, Jane lives across the river, Mississippi River, in Illinois, and drives across the river every day to go to Southeast Missouri State University, where she's studying engineering. So she's crossing the bridge one day, as she does every day, and it's traffic. And she sees this construction kind of truck with a big boom arm hanging off the side of the bridge with a guy in a basket visually inspecting every inch of steel on this bridge. And she goes, this is almost like 100 years ago inspection of steel. Why are we doing that still? Maybe, she says, I put sensors across the bridge, take it through a 3G vibration, catch all the data with the sensors with the vibration, send it through a 3G signal to the cloud. Her algorithm tells MoDOT whether they should or shouldn't inspect that bridge this year. Now, I can't tell you if it's a good idea. She thought it was a good idea, so she goes to the local EDC people in Cape Girardeau. Good people. They're trying to do this thing called Magnet down there. They're trying to get some good results in southeastern Missouri. They say, we like the idea. Here's our score advisors. She goes, awesome. I want great mentors. Let me see what I can get. And she meets the retired real estate agent and dentist, and she meets the retired farmer's insurance guy. And she meets the retired Edward Jones guy. And she's really pleased. I know when I started my business, my original business is Book Exchange. Book Exchange services university textbooks. We're getting our fifth location probably next year, so we're moving forward. Brick and mortar stores actually make money still. Remember? So we're doing pretty good there. Well, I used SCORE when I first started, and the guy says, I like what you got. You're ready to go. And I'm like, thanks. I like hearing that. It helped me out. But it really didn't give me more information than that, from my experience. Jane has the same kind of an experience. But she goes to my site, XLR8, and what XLR8 does is she says who she is, what she's doing, and what she needs. And all of a sudden, she's like, for forming a profile, by the way, there's 2 retired engineering professors from Rolla, 2.5 hours northwest, that can help you in your bridge. So she video conferences with them and texts them and calls them, and even drives. I mean, if you're from rural Missouri, 2 hours is like going to get breakfast. It's pretty normal to drive forever. Okay, it's not uncommon. Don't think urban. Think suburban, bedroom communities, rural. So she gets the help she needs. She stays in Cape Girardeau. She hires the local accounting, the local professional, web development, all this kind of stuff to help her with her program. And she has mentors that are engineering and Chinese product sourcing and manufacturing and all this because she has connections. Otherwise, her only real option is to either drop it or move to St. Louis and work on the new Stan Musial Bridge, getting help from I-10 and T-Rex, et cetera, the resources we have here. Great resources. But maybe she doesn't want to come away from her family and her school. This is what we do. Downtowns have problems. Downtowns, I mean not downtown St. Louis. I mean the square in the old towns of Washington and Kirksville and Columbia and Warrenton, where I'm from. They have their own downtown, their own Main Street. And there's not as many businesses down there as they'd like. There's some vacancies. The globalization is taking away some of the manufacturing. The graduates are fleeing to the hub cities. The capital, the local millionaires, and there are local millionaires. The guy who owns the 3 gas stations with the 5 emos. The guy who has a call center, like in Macon, Missouri, which I talked to yesterday. 200 employees, and he wants to go to the next level. But Macon can't necessarily service him with mentoring and advising and getting angel investment. So he's having to leave his population to get services. How about we do this? How about we build a robust social ecosystem that, like Jane comes on, says what she needs, and the mentors who want to service people who really aren't being utilized very well right now, they're able to get connected to people who actually need their specific help. And the angels who want to invest, who are in these smaller communities, they want to put their money out there, but they can't guarantee the EDC guy $10,000, $20,000 a year guaranteed money because maybe they don't believe their small town will produce more than 3 or 5 startups this year. Maybe they don't think so. But let's say you get those rim cities, 10 cities around a hub of St. Louis, for instance, and they each have 5 angels and 5 startups. And now you bring them to a collaboration, a pitch competition, collaboration event, an unconference, whatever you want to call it. Now you have 50 angels and 50 startups, and you're competing with Rice. And you're competing with these other big business plan competitions because you've collaborated. This is the idea. Now, we've been doing this for 2 months, and in 2 months, I've not slept much. We have a huge team, and the salespeople on the ground, ready to go, 100% commission, are here. In the last 2 months, we've gotten this. Now, I'm not saying they've sold these communities yet. They're starting selling next week because we finally got our stuff produced. It's only been 2 months. But the idea is the energy is overwhelming to, what the heck, why isn't this around already? Okay, so let's talk about the money. I don't usually talk about the money, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. So we exist because we have salespeople going to these communities, and they own the region. And the region has maybe 10 or 12 low-hanging fruit of people who would say yes. And when they sell these communities, the community pays $1,000 a month to be in the association for the entire community, whatever they deem their community as. So far, we have letters of intent from Kirksville and St. Charles, St. Louis, Lindenwood University, Belleville, Alton, Macon, Marshall, Missouri. We're trying to really get communities to say, yes, I want on board. Once the website's built, I'll give you your $1,000 a month. That's where we're at right now. The $1,000 a month, half goes to the sales guy. I call him regional director because it could be a sales lady too. We have a couple of those that are really on fire. They take care of these regions and make sure that they get the services they need. So I can't do it all, for dang sure. But if I bring on strategic people in all the different areas, then they can own that area. They can own those connections and those relationships. And they take, obviously, half the money for their time and flight and all that stuff. That's kind of how we're structuring it financially as well as membership-wise. So that means this is an important thing. This is the major distinction between this business and any kind of other grassroots, if you will, startups like this. Our customer is the people who are doing this service already and need help doing it more. The EDCs, the university, entrepreneurship chairs, the community chambers of commerce. That's our customer. They have money, they have core competency, they have energy, they have contacts, they're the movers and shakers, but I'm not trying to get 1 million or 2 million users and then sell this like Facebook to some kind of like VCs that go, I mean, that's not the direction we're moving here. So we actually have a financial model. The business model is financially stable, regionally supported, with movers and shakers in the communities that make the difference.
Great. Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Rick has to leave, but if you
Actually, my schedule's changed miraculously every 5 minutes.
Great.
So I'm going to be around the rest of the time.
Awesome. So Rick will hang around then.
Yeah.
So you can talk to Rick or me. I'm involved as well. So
thanks a lot
we
for
can talk to you about
and
it.
any ideas you have that you think of while you're sitting here, or like me when I'm sleeping, then just come and talk to me, and we'll work it out.
Yep. So great. Thank you, Rick. So very exciting. He didn't say it, but we have other communities interested as well. In the Pacific Northwest, I already made one call, and it's like, wow, we need that here.
Yeah.
And Seattle usually says, you're from St. Louis, nothing happens there. So it's like, wow, you guys are doing that? That's cool. And we've heard this about St. Louis before. We're very cooperative as an ecosystem, whereas in other cities, people are not cooperative, they're competitive. So we believe in co-opetition, right? We can all help each other, and we can make each other, it's iron sharpens iron.